Wow, must be nice to waste money on a spoiled brat. My sister snickered across the dinner table, clinking her wine glass like she just delivered a joke everyone was supposed to laugh at. Dad chuckled. Mom gave her that approving smile, the one that made me feel 14 again, invisible and small. Only my daughter, Chloe, sat quietly beside me, tracing the Tokyo logo on the gift bag, her cheeks glowing pink with excitement. Hi everyone, my name is Emily Carver. I'm 35. And for 15 years I've carried the same question. How do you stay gentle in a family that mistakes kindness for weakness? I'd spent months saving for those gifts. Chloe had worked so hard at school, and after my first business trip to Japan, I wanted to surprise her. The $1,100 designer backpack, the limited edition Paris chocolates, the brand new iPhone 17 Pro Max, all wrapped in pale pink paper waiting for her birthday dinner. But that dinner became a battlefield. My sister Karen kept eyeing the gifts like they were proof of a crime. Must be nice, she said again. Maybe if you weren't so desperate to buy affection, your daughter would actually respect you. I stayed silent, the way I always did. My daughter's smile dimmed. After cake, everyone drifted into the living room. Laughter. Glasses clinking. The usual chaos. I remember glancing at the empty chair beside Chloe's, the spot where her gifts had been. Gone. Mom. Chloe whispered. Pie stuff. The table was bare except for a smudge of chocolate. We searched the dining area, the hallway, the porch. Nothing. Then later that night, scrolling through Instagram, I froze. My nephew Brandon, Karen's 18-year-old son, had just posted a photo. There was the same designer backpack on his shoulder, the same iPhone in his hand. Caption: Tokyo Drip Skull, thanks Aunt E for the upgrade. My hands trembled as I dialed my sister. She answered on speaker, her tone casual. He liked it more anyway, so I gave him everything. You can afford it. That's when something inside me cracked. Quietly, not loud like a scream, but clean, sharp, final. I didn't argue. I didn't yell. I just whispered, okay. But that night, I opened a new note in my phone and typed the first line of what would become their undoing. If this ever happened to you, say, same in the comments. The screen light flickered across my face as I stared at Brandon's post again. That smirk, that stupid caption, those hundreds of laughing emojis from friends I didn't even know. Every fire felt like a slap. Chloe came into my room holding her blanket. Mom, did Aunt Karen really say that? She asked softly. I nodded. She did. Her lip trembled. Was I wrong to be excited? That question, so pure, so undeserving of all this, cut deeper than anything. I wanted to tell her it didn't matter. That family meant forgiveness. But the truth burned too bitter to swallow. That night, while everyone else slept, I started something small. A list titled The Reckoning. It wasn't rage. It was clarity. First, I checked the purchase receipts. Every item, paid from my business card. Proof. Second, I remembered how Karen bragged about using my name for temporary shipping discounts for her boutique's online store. I'd let it slide once. Maybe twice. But when I opened my work email and searched her name, pages of unapproved shipments popped up, all billed to my company. The total? $7,842. All under my employee ID. At 2:13 a.m. I took screenshots of everything. Invoices, tracking numbers, even the delivery addresses that led right to her house. By morning, my stomach hurt from the calm. That eerie kind of quiet you get before a storm you no longer plan to run from. At breakfast, Mom texted. Karen says you're overreacting. Be mature and move on. I stared at the message, then at Chloe buttering her toast in silence. Mom, she asked again. Are we going to get my stuff back? I smiled a strange new smile. We'll get more than that, sweetheart. That day, while everyone thought I was nursing hurt feelings, I was drafting something far better. A formal fraud report. With her name on it. I hit save draft and whispered, not yet. Let her laugh one more day. Because when I finally pressed send, it wouldn't just be about the gifts. It would be about everything they took for granted. By the next evening, my phone buzzed nonstop with family group messages. Karen had twisted the story before I could breathe. She's jealous of my son, she'd written. She's acting crazy over a bag. And Mom replied with her usual sermon, family over things, Emily. Don't ruin relationships over materialism. Materialism. That word clung to me all day like perfume gone sour. Chloe sat on the couch beside me, scrolling through Brandon's stories. He'd uploaded another one, him unboxing my daughter's iPhone, tossing the box like trash. My blood ran cold. So I didn't react. Instead, I opened my laptop and logged into my company dashboard. My role in the export department gave me access to internal logistics. And there they were again, 12 more international shipments using my corporate email. Each tied to Karen's online boutique. Care mode. Luxury items. Customs details. Japan, Italy, France. She'd been using my credentials to avoid import tax. I leaned back in my chair, the realization pressing down like a weight. It wasn't about the backpack anymore. It was about years of being their emotional and financial punching bag. My boss thankfully trusted me. I forwarded every file to my personal drive and began drafting an anonymous compliance report. The system allowed one per employee, confidential, internal investigation only. When I closed the laptop, Chloe peeked in. "You're not mad anymore?" "No," I said. "I'm done being mad." She frowned. "Then what are you doing?" I brushed a strand of her hair behind her ear. "I'm setting things right." That night, I printed everything. Receipts, screenshots, Brandon's posts, even the group chat where Mom called me dramatic. I placed it all into a brown envelope labeled KM Imports, Fraud Risk. It looked harmless. But inside was her entire empire's undoing. I sealed it, feeling my pulse slow for the first time in days. The next morning, I carried that envelope to the office Dropbox. The sound it made when it slid in, that soft thunk, felt like a door closing. They had taken Chloe's gifts. I had just taken their future. By noon, the compliance office had already flagged the report for review. I didn't know when they'd connect it to Karen, but I knew they would. And when they did, there'd be no soft landing. So I acted normal. That night, I went to Mom's house for Sunday dinner like nothing happened. The same table, the same mismatched plates, the same old judgment floating through the air like cigarette smoke. Karen was already there, laughing too loudly, pretending she didn't see me. Brandon, of course, had that same stolen backpack slung over his chair. Chloe's name tag, the one she'd decorated in pink glitter, was still on it. "Nice to see you finally calm down," Mom said, slicing roast beef. "We were all worried about your little meltdown." I smiled. "Oh, I'm fine now." Karen rolled her eyes. "Good. Because Brandon loves that bag. And honestly, it suits him better than a teenager with mommy issues." Everyone laughed. Everyone but Chloe. That moment, the way her small shoulders tightened, her eyes lowering to her plate, branded itself into me. It was the last time I'd let them humiliate her. After dinner, Karen started bragging about her business again. Orders from Milan, New York, Tokyo, all coming in. "Maybe one day you'll learn how to manage real money, Em." I leaned back, calm as ice. "Funny. You might not have to worry about managing anything soon." She frowned. "What's that supposed to mean?" "Oh," I said lightly, "just, business is unpredictable. One day everything's up. Next day, I snapped my fingers. Gone." She didn't laugh. For the first time, I saw a flicker of unease behind her lipstick smile. When I left, Chloe squeezed my hand. "Mom, why didn't you yell back?" I looked at her, the porch light glinting on her tearful eyes. "Because yelling doesn't scare people like your aunt," I whispered. "Truth does." The next morning, the email arrived from corporate. Subject line: urgent. Internal audit required. Unauthorized imports. Employee ID, KM. I didn't open it right away. I just smiled and poured myself coffee in silence. By the next day, the family group chat exploded. "Karen, who reported my company? You think you're clever?" "Mom, stop this nonsense, both of you." "Emily, did you do something?" "Brandon, you snitched on my mom?" I stared at my phone, watching their panic unfold like a slow-motion car crash. For the first time, I didn't flinch. I just set the phone down beside my coffee and looked at Chloe, who was quietly eating cereal, earbuds in. "Everything okay, Mom?" "Everything's finally okay," I said. At 10 a.m. my office line rang. "Emily? Compliance here. We've completed the preliminary review." "It's serious. The fraudulent activity dates back almost 18 months. We're turning this over to legal and HR immediately. Thank you for bringing it forward." I hung up slowly, heart steady. It wasn't joy I felt. It was justice breathing in quiet rhythm. That evening I drove to my parents' house. The moment I stepped out of the car, Karen stormed out the front door, her face flushed. "You ruined everything," she hissed. "Do you know how many orders I had pending?" I tilted my head. "Maybe don't use someone else's credentials next time." "You think you're perfect?" she shot back. "You're jealous. That's what this is about. You hate that mom loves me more." There was the line every abuser eventually blurts out when they run out of lies. Jealousy. I almost laughed. "Karen," I said softly, "I don't want what you have. I just want what's mine, respect." He sneered. "You think anyone's going to believe you didn't do this for revenge?" I stepped closer. "Oh, I hope they do think that. Because for once my revenge is honesty. And honesty doesn't need approval." Before she could reply, Mom appeared behind her. "Emily, please. Can we fix this quietly?" I looked at both of them, my mother clutching her pearls, my sister trembling in rage, and realized something. They weren't asking for peace. They were asking for silence. And I'd finally learned how to stop giving them that. 2 days later, the silence became its own kind of noise. No one called. No texts. Not even Mom's usual guilt trip messages about forgiveness. I knew what that meant. The storm had moved beyond the family group chat and straight into corporate headquarters. By Wednesday, Karen's boutique website was down. Maintenance mode. Her Instagram shop, wiped clean. No contact number, no apology post, nothing. Just digital dust. That evening, while scrolling through my work email, a notice appeared. Account termination. Vendor partnership KM imports revoked due to confirmed fraud and tax evasion. I leaned back, the faint hum of my desk lamp filling the quiet room. It was over. Or so I thought. Because an hour later Mom called. Her voice trembled, not from concern but from anger. "Emily, how could you do this to your sister? She's humiliated. Brandon's friends are teasing him. The neighbors are talking." I closed my eyes. "Mom, she stole from me. From my company. From your granddaughter. You could have settled this privately." "No," I said softly. "You just wanted it quiet so no one would know who you raised." There was a long pause. Then a cold click as she hung up. Later that night I found Chloe in her room, sketching in her notebook. On the page was a drawing of a cracked backpack, stitched back together with gold lines like Japanese kintsugi art. "What's that?" I asked. She smiled faintly. "It's mine again. Just better now." I felt something shift inside me. For the first time I wasn't chasing their approval. I was building something unbreakable even if it had cracks. Downstairs my phone buzzed again. A notification from an unknown number. "You'll regret this. K." I stared at the message, then deleted it without replying. Because for the first time in years their threats didn't sound like thunder. They sounded like echoes, fading. By Friday morning I woke up to the sound of rain tapping the kitchen window. The air felt cleaner, lighter, as if even the weather had finally decided to start over. I brewed coffee, checked my phone, and saw something that made my stomach tighten. A voicemail. From Karen. Her voice was shaky, desperate, almost unrecognizable. "Emily, please. They froze my accounts. Brandon's tuition payment bounced. The auditors came to the house, they're talking about fines, lawsuits. I need your help. Please don't let them destroy everything." For a long moment I just stood there, listening to her voice echo against the silence of the kitchen. Chloe walked in, rubbing her eyes. "Who was that?" "An old habit calling," I said quietly, turning off the speaker. The truth was, part of me wanted to help. The older sister instinct that had been conditioned to fix, to forgive, to clean up their messes. It still lived in me like a reflex that refused to die. But then I saw Chloe's backpack sitting by the door. The new one I'd bought her last week, her name stitched across the back in gold thread. And I remembered the look on her face that night, when she realized her gifts were gone. That memory was the line I couldn't cross again. Instead of calling Karen, I opened my laptop and composed one final email to corporate. "Please confirm that the investigation remains internal and confidential. No further contact from my side will be made. I only request acknowledgement that restitution steps are being taken." It was formal, controlled, peaceful. An hour later I received their reply. Confirmed. Full restitution and legal settlement in process. Thank you for your integrity. Integrity. The word felt heavy, earned. That night I took Chloe for ice cream. She looked up at me between spoonfuls and said, Mom, you're not scared of them anymore. I smiled. No, baby. I'm not. Outside, the rain had stopped. The streets shimmered under the glow of streetlights. Clean, quiet, free. A week later, the world moved on as it always does. But my family didn't. Karen's boutique had officially shut down. Legal notices arrived at her doorstep, her accounts under audit, her reputation burned quietly, not by gossip but by truth. She moved back into my parents' house, whispering about bad luck and jealous coworkers. Yet when Mom called me this time, her voice was different. Softer. Tired. Emily, she said, your sister's lost everything. She keeps saying you planned it all. I paused. No, Mom. She planned it the moment she thought stealing was easier than saying thank you. There was a long silence. Then Mom whispered, Baby, we were too hard on you. I didn't answer. Some apologies come too late to sound like healing. That weekend, Chloe and I visited a local art fair. She carried her gold-stitched backpack, the one she'd drawn weeks ago, and for the first time she walked with her shoulders straight. At one stall she found a small glass figure, a phoenix rising from crystal ash. She looked at me. It kind of looks like us, doesn't it? I smiled. Yeah. Broken once. But we built better. Later that night, as I unpacked the fair souvenirs, I found a small envelope slipped under our door. No return name, just one line inside, written in Karen's sharp handwriting. I finally understand what it felt like, being invisible while everyone laughed. For a moment I let the paper rest against my chest. Not forgiveness, not hatred, just understanding. Because revenge had never been about watching her fall. It had been about standing tall again on ground that was finally mine. I lit a candle, placed the note beside it and whispered, let it end here. Outside, the wind stirred softly as if agreeing. Chloe called from her room, laughing about something on her phone, her voice filling the house like light. And for the first time in years I felt peace, quiet, steady, real.